A carpenter walked 10 days and 10 nights with a toolbox on his back. He reached the gate of a Chu army camp and told the general, "I came to help you build a siege ladder, but first I want to settle an account with you." The general stared. "What account?" The carpenter said, "You plan to attack Song. Song did nothing wrong. What will the world think of you? If I help you win, my hands carry someone else's blood. If I refuse, you may not win at all. This account is harder than wood." In the chaos of the warring states, not many dared speak to an army that way. His name was Mod. Later ages call him Mozi. Some say it was one of the hardest door-to-door arguments in Chinese thought. Good evening. Bedside Book Voice here. Tonight we're with Mozi. If you're already lying down, dim the lamp a little more. Set the phone farther away. Pull the blanket up. This book works with eyes closed. It also works when you follow words you've heard but never quite felt through and slowly find one person behind them. In the history of Chinese thought, Mohism often sits behind Confucius and Mencius. Yet the four characters universal love and against aggression, you've met them before. Let me say this plainly. Tonight you don't need to memorize universal love and against aggression. You don't need to chew through all 10 books at once. Just follow my voice. Listen to a man who lived a little after Confucius, probably from humbler roots, as he cries out in a broken age, "Love without ranks, war without attack." When you're done, you'll carry away a few lines that can keep you company. Fall asleep halfway? Mozi won't blame you. I won't either. Many Chinese readers don't know this book well. Yet universal love and against aggression sit closer to daily life than you think. Even the phrase love without difference in school textbooks, the root is here. Mozi is worth meeting slowly, under the blanket. That man with the toolbox on his back, why was he later honored as founder of the Mohist school? The answer hides in a book that always looks like settling accounts. We'll get there, slowly. You'll see he doesn't feel like a stiff old pedant. More like a craftsman with good hands, a hard heart, and feet that walked very far. Readers like that were rare in the warring states. They're still rare 2,000 years later. Tonight, treat him as a new friend. An easy one to know. Really? That's enough. In those days, most scholars came from noble families or at least had read books. Mozi seems to walk out of a workshop. He knew measuring lines and levers. He knew how to make tools obey. So when he spoke against aggression to the king of Chu, he didn't only quote classics, he could demonstrate on the spot. When Song needed defense, he didn't only shout slogans, he sent disciples up the wall with gear. A thinker who could both talk and do was uncommon. Later Mohism split into branches, some heavy on debate, some on defense. But the source was one man, making righteousness a sum you could check, making love a road you could walk. The book Mozi is not all sayings like the Analects, nor all debate like Mencius. It has many chapters on honoring the worthy, self-cultivation, what stains you, standards, 7 disasters, excess and ritual, 3 tests, elevating the worthy, unity in law, universal love, against aggression, thrift, simple burial, heaven's will, spirits, against music, against fate, against certain Confucian practices, and later chapters on city defense, ladders, water attacks, like a technical manual. Underneath runs one thread: the world broke because hearts leaned partial, wars multiplied, waste grew fat. How to heal it? Mozi's answer fits in 4 characters: universal love, against aggression. The first time you open Mozi, the chapter titles may scare you. Why preparing against tunnel attacks? Why preparing against ladders? Don't panic. The first half is thought. The second half is application. Mohists didn't only talk at banquet mats. They worked on city walls. Half manual, half manifesto, together that is the full Mozi, reason on the tongue, skill in the hand. Tonight we lean on the first half. Just know, those later preparing chapters mean if fighting cannot be stopped, we still protect who must be protected. Who was Mozi? Histories remember little. Roughly he lived around the spring and autumn and warring states transition, in the Song region, some say originally from Lu. Unlike Confucius, he was not born noble. He likely worked as a craftsman, knew wood and machines. Modest disciples often built siege defense tools. Later ages call him Mod. Mo may be a surname or the name of the school. He lived slightly after Confucius, roughly when Mencius lived, when states fought hardest. Confucius spoke of humaneness. Mencius spoke of innate goodness. Mozi changed the angle. Don't first ask whether goodness lives in the heart. Ask whether people under heaven are loved equally, killed without cause. One old story says Mozi tore his coat to wrap his feet and kept walking. Details are hard to verify. But Mohists valued action, not mat talk alone. To preach universal love, walk to another state. To preach against aggression, enter another army camp. To preach elevating the worthy, meet another king. Blisters on the feet were Mohist calling cards. Your feet need no blisters tonight. Your heart can learn one thing: when you speak, have you moved even a little? When you read Mozi, you'll often hear him quarrel with Confucians. Not for sport, the roads truly diverge. Confucians weight ritual and graded love, start with your parents, push outward ring by ring. Mencius later said honor your elders and extend to others elders, also a push. Mozi said, push 3 times, 5 times, you reach the neighbor, not the child in an enemy state. So he wanted universal love, love without ranks, like sky covering and earth carrying, like a sun that does not shine on one house alone. Today that sounds idealist. In the warring states it stood against love only for our state, help only for our clan. Early chapters honoring the worthy, self-cultivation, what stains you read like a manual for being human. Honor the worthy means stay near capable people, not flatterers. Self-cultivation means clean your own hands, not one face for speech and another for action. What stains you, we'll return to that. Like Confucius, Mozi believed people can improve. Confucius cultivated inward from humaneness. Mozi looked outward through benefit. Universal love helps others, helps you, helps the state. That is not teaching cold calculation. It is teaching clear sums: harm others for a moment, often harm yourself for a long while. Universal love is not giving strangers your bank password. Mozi meant the inner scale, don't weigh only your own people. See another family's child hungry, does your chest tighten? Hear of massacre across a border, does something feel wrong? If you ache only for your own and feel nothing for strangers, Mozi would say, that is not love, that is partial love. The circles inside circles, everyone else outside. Universal love means widening the circle as far as you can. You won't wire money to strangers tonight. You might glare less in an elevator, curse less online, that is universal love at minimum. Mozi had a hard line on universal love: if all under heaven love each other, order; if all hate each other, chaos. Chaos in the warring states meant war, broken walls, parents losing children. He did not say love once and war stops. He said war can stop when you stop treating other states as prey. If by day you only ask did we win, never did they die, Mozi might tap your shoulder. Universal love is not sainthood. It is refusing to treat people as numbers first. Someone will ask, does universal love cancel filial piety? Mozi did not say cancel. He said, see another's state as you see your state, another's family as your family, another's body as your body. Filial piety remains, just don't let it blind you to the outside. Confucians criticized Mozi for being without father, spreading love too evenly, thinning kinship. Mozi answered, if all under heaven practiced universal love, your own house would be safer because others would treat you the same. It sounds like exchange. Underneath the exchange, I will not wrong others first. If you're a parent, universal love doesn't mean stop loving your child. It means while you love your child, don't treat another child as deserving pain. If you're a child, universal love doesn't mean unfilial. It means while you honor parents, don't turn to strangers cold as stone. Mozi didn't write 24 filial tales. He wrote, filial piety turned only inward, war turned outward, universal love connects inside and outside. That is hard enough that 2,000 years still argue. Hard does not mean wrong. Next comes the hardest and most remembered word Mozi left, against aggression. Attack means marching to strike another state, another city. Against aggression means opposing that kind of war. Look, Mozi was not so gentle that he forbade all fighting back. He helped Song defend, built tools, taught disciples to hold walls. That is defense. Defense is when others reach your gate and you protect your own. Attack is marching far to seize land and kill people who did you no wrong. Mozi said, killing one person is unrighteous and deserves death. Kill 10, the weight multiplies tenfold. Kill 100, 100-fold. Kill 100, no amount of ritual virtue cancels it. War for land alone, for swagger alone, that is the greatest unrighteousness. The Chapter 7 disasters list 7 harms: empty granaries within, no guards without, hungry people, extravagant rulers, dead law, flattering ministers, suffering masses. Empty treasury, unguarded borders, starving folk, luxurious kings, useless law, yes men everywhere, lives ground down, hit 3 of 7 and the state totters. It sounds like management class. Mozi meant, lavish war and lavish burial both land you in those 7. Against aggression is not only morality. It is arithmetic. Too many wars empty the storehouses, thin the people, while the king still builds high towers. Where do ordinary folk live? He told a concrete story. Chu planned to attack Song. Gongshu Ban built a cloud ladder, a siege machine tall enough to scale walls. Mozi heard, left from Lu, walked 10 days and 10 nights, feet raw, reached Chu. First he met Gongshu Ban and used a model on the spot. I can build the ladder and break the ladder. You attack, I have a way to hold. Gongshu Ban yielded. Then Mozi saw the king of Chu and argued against aggression. Chu has much land and few people. Seizing poor Song is abandoning root for branch. The king said, the ladder is built, can we stop? Mozi said, let me match wits with Gongshu Ban again. He took off his belt, looped it into a city wall, used chopsticks as weapons, sparred 9 rounds, 9 times Gongshu Ban shifted, 9 times Mozi blocked. Gongshu Ban said, I know how to attack but cannot say how. Mozi said, Gongshu Ban means kill me. Kill me, my disciple Chin Guali and 300 others already stand on Song's wall with defense gear. Killing me gains nothing. The king withdrew. Later ages call this stopping Chu's attack on Song. Hear it as story or as method. Step 1, technical talk, attack may not win. Step 2, moral talk, attack need not happen. Step 3, power talk, killing the reasonable man gains nothing. 3 steps done, war dies down. Mozi didn't only weep for peace. He engineered peace, every link of against aggression fitted in place. In daytime conflict you can ask, is there step 2, step 3, not only step 1 shouting? Details may have been polished by later hands. The frame sits in Mozi's Gongshu chapter. Picture this: one man, no blade in hand, using reason, skill, and disciples willing to die pressing war back before the fuse lit. That took footwork, craft, courage. Mozi had all 3. Against aggression is not empty peace talk. It is asking, is this war worth it? Who weeps for the dead? Gongshu Ban is later legend as Lu Ban, patron of carpenters. In Mozi he helps siege and loses to Mozi's model. Craft itself has no moral color. Building a ladder is craft. Breaking a ladder is craft. Mozi did not hate technology. He hated technology bent toward attack. Later Mohism chapters on preparing cities, ladders, water, all defense, enemy digs under, how do you block, enemy raises ladder, how do you push? Reading them feels like an ancient safety manual. A little dry. But picture 300 disciples on the wall against aggression is not hollow. Behind it stands defense you can execute. Against aggression and universal love breathe one air. Universal love, don't sort people into enemy and friend in the heart first. Against aggression, don't swing the blade at the innocent first. Lying here tonight, no one asks you to stop a war. You can ask, did you like that daytime post cheering for a fight? If Mozi heard, he might ask, did you like other people's lives, or your own thrill? Mozi also tells rescue defense stories. When another state is attacked, Mohists may go help. Help means not helping attack, helping the weak hold the wall. Like defensive aid in modern talk, Mozi did it 2,000 years ago. You need not approve every help. Remember, Mozi opposed attack, not protection. Protection is universal love and emergency dress. Elevating the worthy is another brick in Mozi's politics. Worthy means able and upright. Elevating the worthy means using capable people, not bloodline alone. In the warring states, many offices passed father to son whether the son could work or not. Mozi said, when a state has many worthy people, its order grows thick. How choose? Ignore high and low, near and far, look only at whether they serve and benefit people. That echoes later examination ideals from far away. If your company picks leads by seniority alone, Mozi would frown beside you. He cited Fuyu, Gaoyao, Yi'in low birth, raised for talent. Elevating the worthy ran against the wind because privilege sat in blood. Mozi still insisted, without it, universal love never lands if those in charge serve only themselves, who below believes in mutual love and mutual benefit. If tonight you feel the doers lose to the talkers, don't only rage. Start elevating the worthy with yourself. Can you deliver? Don't wait only for bosses to change. Unity in law pairs with elevating the worthy. Unity doesn't mean identical thoughts. It means once good law is set above, below follows, not everyone singing a different tune, not everyone walking alone. Mozi feared unity read as blind follow, so elevating the worthy must come first. Unworthy above, unity below, that makes accomplices. Read Mozi as a chain. Universal love is the heart of against aggression, elevating the worthy is the hand against chaos, unity in law is the road of order. Drop one link, the rest wobble. Thrift and simple burial, where Mozi fought Confucian's hardest. Confucian's wait ritual, rich burial, long mourning, 3 years filial, fine clothes, fine music. Mozi said, all waste. The world has many poor, you bury money in earth, spend years weeping at graves, how do people live? Thrift, use things fully, don't splash. Simple burial, grief in the heart, not in the parade. He criticized nobles' rich food, wide clothes, palace towers, pools and pavilions, squeezing the people. Your rituals today, do they make others work overtime, spend more, feel guilty? In Against Confucians, Mozi hits long mourning and heavy ritual harder, sharp words, impolite to later readers. Shift to a warring state's farmer's view, one man mourns 3 years, no plow, no weave, the family drinks northwest wind. Ritual looks fine, life is real. Mozi did not lack grief. He freed grief from spectacle. You need not bury harshly tonight. Ask once, must honoring someone burn money and fill tables? Thrift can live in the heart, one less vanity, one more truth. Heaven's will and clear spirits, parts modern readers skip, vital in Mozi's day. Heaven's will, heaven wants people to love and benefit each other, not rob and harm. Who practices universal love, heaven rewards. Who attacks, heaven punishes. Clear spirits, ghosts record wrong done in secret. You may not believe ghosts. Mozi wanted a scale in the heart with someone watching above. Without heaven, without spirits, only law where law cannot reach, will people run wild? You may reject his cure and still feel his question, why stay a little righteous when no one sees? Mozi said, how do I know heaven loves people deeply? Not by what ears and eyes catch, by what heaven does, rain, seasons, feeding the people. That is his test of fact, infer will from deeds. You may not believe heavenly punishment. But a guilty conscience that won't let you sleep, Mozi might call that the spirit's entry in your chest. Before sleep ask, is anything still rubbing? If yes, the scale still lives. 3 tests, Mozi's debate tool, like asking whether a claim is trustworthy today. 3 tests, root, source, use. Root, did ancient sages say it? Source, do people see and hear it in the world? Use, does practicing it benefit state and people? A claim needs ancient ground, present ground, practical good, else hold doubt. Better than because I feel so. Run tonight's hot post through 3 tests, source? Fact? Good for you and others? Debating Confucians, Mozi used 3 tests often. Confucians said, ritual was fixed by sages obey. Mozi asked, which sage, good or bad? What did people witness? Who gains in practice? That pulls tradition off the altar onto a scale. In an age of information floods, 3 tests help more than ever, root, source, use, pass, then trust. Fail, sleep first, decide tomorrow. Mohism was not one thinker alone, it was a people. After Mozi died, disciples bred disciples, Mohists. Tight organization, leader called the Grand Master, order given, disciples through fire and water. Not blind cult, they signed on to universal love and against aggression, willing to pay. Mohists excelled at defense and machines. States wanted them and feared them. Han Fei said, the famous schools of the age, Confucians and Mohists. Confucian and Mohist side by side, Mohism once rang loud. Qin unified, favored legalists, Han later exalted Confucianism alone, Mohism faded. 2,000 years, many remember Confucius and Mencius, not always Mozi. Yet universal love against aggression still lives in textbooks and some hearts. Mohists wore short clothes, walked fast, didn't sing ritual music, they didn't look like classic gentlemen. They looked like workers. Yet these were the people on Song's wall with tools, in Chu's tent arguing, making righteousness executable. Mohism waned, craft flowed into guilds, thought was absorbed and rejected by Confucian and legalist lines. Ancient defense diagrams in museums may carry Mohist shadow. Schools vanish, questions remain, should this war be fought? Should this person be used? Should this money be spent? We're roughly halfway. On a breath between thoughts, if tonight's voice kept you company, tap like and subscribe. Leave a lamp lit for me in the dark. No need to sit up, one finger. Good. We continue Mozi. The chapter excess in conduct lists faults of gentlemen today, rich burial, long mourning, heavy ritual, love of music, extravagant food. Not culture, Mozi said, fault, error. Straight talk until the comfortable feel rubbed. Think of warring states folk, who tills? Who guards walls? Who pays for music? Mozi spoke from the side of those who work, hence the hardness. If tonight you're comfortable, listen anyway. If tonight you're the one working, you may feel, at last someone counted for us. Mozi quarreled with Yang Zhu and Confucians too. Yang Zhu taught for myself, pluck one hair to benefit all under heaven, I won't. Mozi said, if everyone is only for self, the world breaks. Confucians teach partial love, love in grades. Mozi said, if everyone loves only their house, war won't stop. He didn't want to erase self, he wanted self not to swell until it steps on others. He didn't want to erase kinship, he wanted kinship not to become reason to hate outsiders. Warring states porridge, everyone grabbing. Mozi set down the pot and asked, can we pause and count who was being boiled? Mencius criticized Mohists as without father, Yang Zhu as without ruler, harsh words. Mozi may not have worn those hats. The fight itself shows, universal love felt too wide, Confucians feared thin kinship, for myself felt too deep, Mozi feared a scattered world. You need not pick a side. Notice, Chinese thought long ago fought for strangers, for people in enemy states. Rare. Hard. Remembering at night adds a little width and a little steel. Against music, another line that makes modern brows rise. Mozi opposed large musical shows, waste, labor, lost farm time. Confucius said similar things but didn't reject all music. Mozi went further, some music is gentleman's luxury, commoners' suffering. Love music today, fine. Mozi's point, if pleasure rests on others' exhaustion, is it still pleasure? A feast, how many washers, how many night walkers? Not telling you to stop listening, asking whether your joy had a price tag on someone else's back. In Against Music, Mozi counts the bill, big performance, how many to cast bells and drums, perform, serve, how much field time lost. Not denying art, asking whose life pays when people hunger and the king still listens to bronze. Podcasts and music tonight, good. Just don't flaunt curated life while others still overtime. Thrift and Against Music share one breath, don't build your ease on another's grind. Against Fate rejects fate determinism. Some said, rich or poor, long or short life, all fate, effort useless. Mozi said, against fate. If everything is fixed, why should kings govern? Why should farmers plow? Fate talk makes the top lazy, the bottom lazy. He pushes people forward, universal love and against aggression require motion, not lying until heaven edits the script. If tonight you feel nothing can change, Mozi may whisper, against fate, move a little first. Fate talk was popular in the warring states, sounds odd beside heaven's will. Mozi split them cleanly, heaven wills mutual love and benefit, concrete fortune is not all fate, human choice, institutions, war matter too. Against fate means don't use fate as excuse. I am just this kind of person, sometimes true, sometimes lazy. Mozi might ask softly, tried a little universal love? A little thrift? A little motion? When you read Mozi, don't only keep slogans. Keep one man, 10 days and nights on foot, debating kings, hands that built machines, heart-carrying enemy state children. Keep 300 disciples on Song's wall saying kill me, gain nothing. Keep a temper, not Confucian gentle polish, not Mencius classic citation, more craftsman, problem where, fix there, war unjust, stop it, love partial, widen it. If you heard our Mencius episode, you remember Mencius criticizing Mohists. Read both interesting, Mencius pushes unwillingness to harm, Mozi counts benefit and harm. Mencius starts from filial piety, Mozi from universal love. Not higher or lower, complementary. At night if you're a pusher, remember Mencius. If you're a counter, remember Mozi. Many need both, unwilling heart, counting hand. 3 lines to carry today. 1. Universal love, start by treating strangers as human. 2. Against aggression, start by not cheering fight online. 3. Thrift, start by one less needless waste. No need to become a saint overnight. Mozi never asked sainthood. He asked, don't let the inner scale weigh only yourself. One more for the earnest, mutual love, mutual benefit, Mohist high-frequency phrase. Mutual love is universal love. Mutual benefit means both sides gain, not zero-sum. Help others, others often help you. Harm others, others often harm you. Mozi called this exchange of benefit. Sounds transactional, really warning against I win so you must lose. Before sleep, recall one small win-win today, even one less sharp reply, that is exchange of benefit. Some compare Mohism to Western utilitarianism, universal love like greatest good for greatest number. Scholars argue. Simpler for you, Mozi was concrete. Love spoke of other states and families. Righteousness spoke of not drawing blades. Worth spoke of not hogging seats. Use spoke of not squandering. Every line could land in action, not philosophy parked in sky. Late records of Mozi are thin. Legend says he traveled states, stopped attacks many times, gathered disciples, returned to common folk in the end. Emperors never crowned him sage like Confucius. Yet disciples defended cities years after he died. Alive, kings often ignored him. Dead 2,000 years, sometimes forgotten, sometimes raised again. Modern readers say, China once had this hard branch of common people's philosophy. Hard not cruel, hard feet, hard hands, hard heart, hard enough to walk 10 days for strangers. Liang Qichao's generation and Sun Yat-sen's raised Mozi again, China's lover endure, they said. Era needed that reading, truth lived too, universal love against aggression in crisis years read as unite outward, don't bully the weak. Tonight ignore how history reframed him. Know this, a book forgotten 2,000 years returns because questions remain, war remains, waste remains, love only for our own remains. We didn't finish Mozi's 10 books in one night, couldn't. Remember a few scenes, Mozi loops belt into a wall, chopsticks against Gongshu Ban, 300 Mohists on Song's wall, a carpenter telling a general this account beats wood. Remember, when all under heaven love each other, the strong don't grab the weak, the many don't rob the few, the rich don't humiliate the poor, the noble don't sneer at the low, the cunning don't fool the honest. Mozi's dream. Not fully realized, while the dream lives, people still read Mozi. If Mod's name was new tonight, after this you won't be fully strangers. 2,000 years he often ranks behind Confucius and Mencius. Yet universal love against aggression didn't die, it changed clothes into equality, anti-war, thrift. Names fade, questions stay, who benefits? Who gets hurt? Who pays waste? 3 questions, Mohism. The book's temper in one line, nothing under heaven is more precious than righteousness. Righteousness in Mozi is not empty universal love, against aggression, thrift, not bullying the weak. Lying down, skip the whole world tonight. Ask only, one thing today, did the scale approve? Yes, sleep easy. No change a little tomorrow. Enough Mohist for you. The Mozi canon upper and lower, dense entries on names, things, debate, speech like an ancient logic text. We didn't open it tonight. Enter through universal love and against aggression enough. Mohists didn't only hold walls, they argued fine points hard and detailed so righteousness could stand, not to nitpick words. Confucius said, what you don't want done to you, don't do to others. Mozi answered straighter, see another's body as your body. Confucius pushes from self outward. Mozi places others inside self first. 2 lines, 1 bedtime breath. Pick either for tonight's pillow. Another line tied to Mozi, the strong don't seize the weak, the many don't plunder the few. 8 characters holding universal love and against aggression. If by day you saw power shove the powerless, at night you feel why Mozi hardened. Not asking heroics, asking the inner scale not to lean with the strong. Last I want Mozi's what stains you to settle the night. What stains you, what environment dyes you. Near vermilion you turn red, here MO means Mohist school, not ink black. He said, dye with azure, you turn azure, dye with yellow, yellow. Long in an orchid room, you stop smelling orchid, long in fish market, you stop smelling fish. Who you sit with, what feeds you shapes you. Tonight you dim the phone, listen to universal love against aggression, dyed a little wider, a little harder. Don't need full dye. A little is enough. Beyond what stains you, standards and forms. Mozi on heaven's will and universal love wasn't everyone improvising, there was a ruler. The ruler sat in heaven, in benefit, in whether fewer people died. No need to memorize the ruler tonight. Remember a ruler in the heart, don't let it measure only your own people. Measure wider, sleep deeper. You don't need to remember tonight. Truly, not one line. Mozi isn't for memorizing. Like a skilled walker far on foot, overhear 2 sentences passing, enough. Sleep with a little feeling, maybe universal love, maybe against aggression, maybe the carpenter at the army gate with a toolbox. If tomorrow you remember only one word, let it be righteousness. Nothing dearer than righteousness, universal love is righteousness, against aggression is righteousness, elevating the worthy is righteousness, thrift is righteousness. Righteousness isn't slogan, the night question, today, was I fair to strangers? Fair, sleep. Not quite, adjust tomorrow. Mozi never asked much. Before good night, a small question. Which line would you tuck under the pillow tonight? Universal love? Against aggression? Nothing dearer than righteousness? No rush to answer now. After waking, tell me in comments, I read each one. If you like nights like this, subscribe and touch the bell, next sleepless evening I can find you again. Next time we read Han Fei. Mozi taught love without ranks and war without attack. The last great legalist of the warring states teaches power, law, and the other face of human nature. Some ask, can Mozi and Confucius be read together? Yes. Confucius roots you in human ties. Mozi widens the net to strangers. One deep inward, one broad outward. Before sleep, no need to choose sides. You can be filial and universal, ritual and thrifty, gentle and hard, like Mozi, straight speech, wide heart. One Mozi line for tonight's close, none fits this moment better. If all under heaven loved each other, loving others as self, would anyone still be unfilial? Busy day done, now return love to the bed. No outward attack tonight. The scale stays in your chest. Let it quiet. Sleep. Half a line more, would anyone still be unfilial? Mozi asks if universal love truly landed, filial piety grows more natural, not less. Place that beside the without father criticism. No need to solve, half solved is sleep enough. Let the lamp stay dim. Nothing to fight, nothing to grab. Tomorrow you'll be human again. Tonight be the lightest part, a person lying down. Mozi might say that's enough. Set today down. Leave tomorrow for tomorrow. Sleep well. Sweet dreams for you tonight. See you in the pages tomorrow morning. One more Mozi line for the warriors, whatever spends wealth and labor without useful purpose, call it evil. Whatever costs money and sweat without good for people or state, evil. Scrolling late tonight, a small evil. Sleeping now, storing strength to help and love tomorrow, a small universal love. Perfection not required. Sleep. This is Bedside Book Voice. Good night, see you in the pages. MOD walked 2,000 years ago. Universal love against aggression remain. Hearing tonight is enough. Wake remembering against aggression, you're already closer to Mozi than many. Sleep. Universal love against aggression can wait for tomorrow. Tonight ends here.